Alright guys, I don't remember where I left you off. I think I left you off at the windows here, or the door panel. I put the windows in and the door panel over here. And what I'm doing today is, you can't really see it, I got that piece of masonite on that door over there, but I did run into problems because I had to take this door panel up a couple different times and reshape it and form it and everything to get it to fit perfect. And let me show you what happened. When I took it off, I was using these plastic clips, and they were just breaking, they were snapping, and I lost half of them taking that door panel off. So if you guys are going to do any kind of paneling work and everything, don't even waste your time buying these, you know, unless you're just going to use it once, you know, throw it on and hope you're never going to take it off. But I knew I was going to have to take a door panel off, that's why I got these. I thought they would come off with no problem. But anyway, I wound up, I bought these metal ones, you know, and these are original. These are actual Ford, they actually belong on a Ford, not that it's the ones that belong on there, but they'll work for me. So let me go take the other door panel off and show you what we had to do to modify that. Alright, I fit and shaped this door panel before I put the upholstery on. I didn't do that with the other one. I actually had to pull some of the upholstery off and re-glue it back. But I have the new clips on this one, and they're actually much better, you know. They actually push on. The other ones I had to hit on with a hammer, you know, a rubber mallet. But these, actually, you could just pop it off, you know, and that'll come right off. And then when you put it on, all you have to do is just push it on with your hand. And like I said, the other one was a real pain in the ass. So these cost a little more, but it was worth the money. So let me take this door panel off, and maybe we'll throw some upholstery on it. And I'll show it to you on the table, see what they look like. Alright, here's what them clips look like on the backer here. And they're actually a better fit too, because if you can see here, this hole here was the original hole, and that's center where the pin's going to go through. And them other ones were straight pins, so I had to cut. I forgot what size it was. It was bigger than half, about a ½ inch or bigger. And then that hole would have come right to the edge. But these here are actually offset, so you offset them a ½ inch, and that actually gives you more meat on the end there, so it's not as brittle as the other one. So they work better. Alright, let me, sorry about that. I gotta cut this hole out here to fit the escutcheon plate here. I go in there. So I gotta cut that before I put the material on. Alright, let me do that. Alright, I cut that hole there for your escutcheon. Sorry it took so long, but that had to be right. See, it fits right in there. And then on the back side, is this ring, and that holds the little tangs or tabs. Alright, let me get the material. Alright, I got this other panel done. Looking pretty good. I didn't show you what was going on because I got involved with a whole lot of other stuff here to try to make it fit. I had to retrim that panel up a little bit, and the door wasn't fitting quite right, so I had to do some grinding down here. And then take the door jamb out and adjust that and put new pins in the door up top here. And it just wasn't closing right, but now it closes nice, real nice. With the panel on before, I couldn't get to close at all, so I had to do a whole lot of work to that. Let me close it and take a look at it from the other side. Here's what it looked like with the door closed. Looks pretty good. We're happy with the way that turned out. So, and even the top there, I put the top on, and the welting or the beading, whatever you want to call it. So, also we're doing a lot of other stuff. That's why I haven't been showing much. But let me show you what's going on. I also put the air filter back on and made that sturdy. Put a little gasket on here and put the screen in the front. and put a new tag on there, vehicle identification number, whatever. Genuine Ford products there. So we did that, and also had to take the alternator apart, and I didn't change the bearings in there. It was squealing, you know. So I just the front bearing I think was good, but the back bearing I put a little grease in there, so that should be okay. But anyway, a little bit at a time. So now I'm going to start back on the headliner, do that back piece. Alright, we'll see you when we start doing that. Alright, let me show you what I'm going to do now. When I got this car, this is the throttle linkage and everything, and here's the spring. Well, they had this spring hooked up going down here from here, and there's a little bracket right here, you know, so they had that spring here, you know, and it was rubbing all up against all this stuff, and I didn't like it. So we decided we're going to put the spring up, pulling on the throttle, pulling it back, and there's really nowhere to hook it to, you know, and the only thing around here to hook it to is this radiator hose here, and Daddy Dirt Bike just took some baling wire, you know, temporary, to put on here, you know, which is a good idea, and it's a good situation, a good solution. But you know, it is baling wire, and it was only temporary. So what I was going to do is I was going to take a page out of my buddy Musty One's book, and he's always using wrenches. So I pick up this wrench, and I'm actually going to put it on this. That's a 15/16 fitting there. Put it on there and cut it off. Cut it off right about where my thumb is at. Put a hole in it. To install it, I'm going to have to take that fitting out and install it from the bottom. But I think it'll be a good solution. And I can actually move it either direction, you know, to get a direct. Right now it's almost direct, but it's slightly pointed inward towards the engine, which is fine. But we'll cut this up and we'll see how it works. I picked this up at a flea market for $1. You know, it's a good wrench, you know. It's not a Craftsman or anything. It's made in Taiwan, but then everything's made over there. Even the Craftsman wrenches are made in China now. But I had a chance. I paid $1 for this, and I had a chance to buy a brand new Craftsman wrench for $2 and a Blackhawk for $2. But I couldn't live with myself if I cut up a brand new Craftsman wrench. So we're gonna cut this one up and see how it works. Alright, I cut it, put a hole in it, and shaped the end here the way I like it. Now, the only downside of this, got to drain the transmission fluid below that mark right there. That's probably a little more than halfway. Alright. When I say transmission fluid, I meant radiator antifreeze there. Alright. Even I make mistakes. Alright. Looks like it worked out pretty well. I don't think it'll rattle. It is movable, you know. You see, it does move a little bit. But I have that heater hose pushed up pretty tight on there, and that's sort of holding it down in place. And then when you give it gas, it really doesn't move. So I don't think we'll have any trouble with it. All right, I put that fitting back on there with some gas oiler. I used to use this stuff here. I've had this forever. But I've started using this newer stuff. It's because it's good for. You see a little corn cob there? Oops, sorry about that. It's good for ethanol and alcohol fuels and stuff like that. If you're gonna seal any kind of be around any kind of gasoline or anything. So just a little side tip there for you guys. All right, so we're happy with that, and I hope you approve of that, Musty One, Darren. Alright, let's move on to something else.